All right. Do believe we are live once again. My name is Michael Dean. You're listening or you're watching Podcast Juice, Podcast on Prince. We are live here on a Sunday afternoon. Hopefully everything is going well in your world. We want to, we're just going to conversate a little bit today. Pretend like you're here at my place and we're just sitting down chopping it up. Wanted to, a little bit talk about, I guess you would say the protégés or, the artists and all the people who have been associated with Prince throughout the years. I'm talking about like all the musicians, people that have worked with them, engineers. And I was just thinking like, man, like most of the people, if not all of them, are like the best at what they do. And what I'm trying to say, I guess really we want to show them, give them some love, share with them their flowers now, let people know that we do appreciate them. And, for anybody who may watch this video years from now, or maybe you're just getting into Prince, these are other people who helped Prince along the way that are just as fabulous. You would owe it to yourself to go and check out what they do as well. It's one of those things. We recently had the passing of Pepe Willie, excuse me, which we'll talk about in a minute. He's been on the podcast a couple of times. You've seen him on a lot of other platforms as well. He's got a book out. One of the early people who, in a sense, mentored Prince, helped him early on his journey. And one of the people that's, I think, in my opinion, a very important person to all of this as well. And, we don't want to forget anybody. I'm not going to be able to go into everybody, but we just want to show some love. What's up, Deja? I see you out there. Thanks for tapping in. So yeah, man, we just wanted to talk about a few people and like kind of like the ones that stand out to me, top of mind. Hold on for a second. Smoke blowing in my face. But yeah, just people that, that just jump in top of mind and that type of thing. Deji said, I hope you enjoyed Hawaii. I did enjoy Hawaii. Went out there for my son's graduation, high school graduation. So very proud of that. Salute to Lucas out there. But they had a good time. Good to be back home. But that's what's up. Hey, what's going on? We see y'all. What's up? What up? What's going on, Swan? But before I get into my conversation, let's play a little music to get us in the mood real quick. See if y'all remember this one. Great Taja Seville.
Look into my big brown eyes. Tell me what's on your mind. Do you really love me? Yeah.
What's up?
Do you just wanna make some time? See, I don't really care. 'Cause I can use a little company. I can tell by the look
Hey.
in your eyes.
Hey, man, what's going on, Frank? I saw your post about Pepe, man. That's how I found out.
Would you love to love me? Would you? Would you love to love me, baby? Would you? Would you love to be with me alone? Would you love to have me for your very own? I'm not trying to tease you, no. I only wanna tell you oh, you see, I know I can please you, baby. All night long. Tell me, baby, would you love to love me?
It's Taja Seville. It's a Prince song.
Would you love to have it for your very own?
What up, John? Yeah.
Would you love to be with me alone? Would you love to have me for your very own? I want you, you want me, oh baby, don't you wanna love me?
Yeah. I could have seen that. Yeah.
He loves me, he loves me not. Fire, keep burning, a fox for you, so hot. So what's it gonna be, baby? This girl ain't got all night. If you give me all, sure, that's so don't right. Wouldn't you love to love me? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you love to love me, baby? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you love to love me? Come on. Would you love to love me, baby? Wouldn't you? Crush the fire, let's go higher.
All right, all right. Let's get the juices going. Now you're ready to get on the microphone. All right, so that was Taja Seville. Of course, that's Prince wrote that song. In terms of, what was released, this was the version that was released, came out. I think what her album came out in 87, 88, I want to say. This was a single. This was a video for this. Man, I was all into this album when it came out. Like, I thought that, to me, that's that Prince R&B pop, that's right up there with like, to me, like it sits in the same boat as like A Strange Relationship, Private Joy. It's just that, I love that. I love that style. And I was enamored with Taja Seville. Just, visually when you saw the video. It's so funny. Yes, Love and Contagious was probably the bigger song off the album. Dope as well, which I don't think Prince even had anything to do with that song. That was on her, and that song was smash. But I remember this interesting. So the first time I met Taja Seville in person, many years later, this was at the Capri Theater. It was an event by the Purple PRN alumni. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember. It was a PRN alumni thing. And I can't remember the exact title of the event, but it was something that I actually helped. I was a co-host of this event. But anyway, she was there. And it was the first time I had got to meet her. So I remember seeing her in person. And, I'm a grown man at this point, and she was there with her husband and everything. Salute to him. But I ain't gonna lie, like, a part of me, like that teenage Michael Dean that was, bumping that album and watching that video, I was just like, yo, I couldn't believe, like, I'm like, this is the girl, Wouldn't You Love to Love Me video at the top and everything was jiggy. I was like, ma'am. But super great people. Very, very down to earth, cool. But I also remember at the same event, during the, it was like we were doing like a Q&A. It was a whole panel thing. And there was a lot of people there. I think Dwayne Tudor was there, but Dave, Susan Rogers, I believe, was there. Was a lot of great people, engineers. But I remember when I was, doing the hosting thing, but I remember seeing Pepe Willie was in the audience. That's what I was trying to say. And I had never met him before, but I knew who he was. And I was like, yo, I know who this dude is, man. Like, this cat was somebody it was one of the real ones, early on, you know what I'm saying? Like, the older OG type dude that would take brothers under their wing, the older brother. So I seen him in the audience, and I had to I think he was trying to put his hand up or something, but I just gave him the microphone. I don't think I gave anybody else and he came up on the stage, and, he was going to talk his talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was letting the pedigree and the bio of the greatness that he had done through the town. And I was just so dope. And so I always remember, like, yeah, he was one of the original cats. Before the fame, it was just on that family hookup. Oh, there's somebody in the family who already kind of got their foot in the game. Let me give you a little few pointers. You know what I'm saying? Let me point you in your way type of dude. We've all had those type of brothers or, family members or people that can help put you on to stuff. So, just to remember, and I'm an outsider as a fan, but I recognize, I say, yeah, Pepe Willie, man, yeah, that solid. You know what I'm saying? Real cool dude. And of course, we've had him on the podcast, and, he really shared some great stories with us and, walk us through what was that like. You know what I'm saying? What is it like to be the older brother, the mentor, a younger cat that's an exceptional, talented individual? You got to see it from his perspective, And a lot of times we don't get to hear, he really kind of represents that big uncle, that maybe the pops or somebody, other men in that family didn't really see the potential, but, there's that uncle or that person who came in and said, yo, I see what that young man's doing. Okay, let me give him a little game. Let me make sure that he's right. They gonna treat him right. You know what I'm saying? Or let people know, hey, he with me. So, we're gonna treat him like that. So, yeah, man. So with all of that said, I'm just kind of running things that are going through my mind. Let's give, for those who don't know, we'll give a little bit of props to this brother right here, man. Pepe Willie. This is off of his website. So Pepe Willie grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York. Okay. So Bed-Stuy, stand up. In a family with rich musical background. Of his 5 aunts and 5 uncles on his mother's side, his uncle Clarence Collins is the original founding member of Little Anthony and the Imperials, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees of 2009. His aunt, Muriel, I'm saying it right, sorry, saying it wrong, my apologies, sang with Etta James and the Peaches. Another aunt, Dorothy, went to high school with Wynton Kelly and Miles Davis. Miles frequently visited Pepe's grandfather's house in Brooklyn, where they had jam sessions with his grandfather, George Collins, who played piano. Pepe's nephew, Keith Middleton, stars in Stomp, and his great-nephew, Quizem Middleton, played guitar in the Naked Brothers band on Nickelodeon and performed on stage at Carnegie Hall at 10 years old. So already the pedigree and the family generational, in the music. Pepe started as a valet to Little Anthony and the Imperials at the age of 15. The world he entered behind the stage at the Brooklyn Paramount Theater and later the Brooklyn Fox Theater during Murray the K's reign as the host to some of the greatest rock and roll shows of all time was an intense schooling in the business of music. He observed and learned from not only Little Anthony and the Imperials, but also the likes of Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, and the Miracles, the Four Tops, the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Tammy Uri, the Chiftons, Dionne Warwick. The list goes on. Let me jump a little bit ahead here. Pepe came to Minnesota in 1974 after marrying Prince's first cousin, Chantel. He brought with him all the knowledge and experience he gained in Brooklyn. In Minneapolis, Pepe started working on his own demo. He also started working with Prince and his first group, Grand Central, including Andre Simone and Morris Day, helping them rehearse properly, teaching them song construction and the business of music. After recognizing Prince's true talent, he hired Prince to record with his own group, 95 East, in 1975. Where was you at in 1975? Pepe Willie and 94 East have released a number of albums and CDs featuring Prince's contribution to those early sessions. Minneapolis Genius, man, you know, old school Prince fans, man, we Minneapolis Genius. Well, you had to have that. What was you talking about? Like Prince is on that? What? And you remember when they would release different versions? Come on, man. Symbolic Beginning, the 95 East featuring 10, 15, and Fortune Teller with Prince on guitar. And it says here, we are the only ones who can legally use Prince's name with ours when marketing our material. Pepe's influence has touched many of the artists that emerged from the Twin Cities during the late 70s and 80s. Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Morris Day, Andre Simone, Dr. Fink, Bobby Z, Cynthia Johnson, and many, many more. Let me get back over here to this screen. Listen, we want to give major respect and salute to Pepe Willie. He's a big part in music. We just don't say it like that. He's a big part in music. Contributed just like everybody else, but in terms of his contributions and, you know, mentorship to Mr. Prince, salute. You know, absolutely. And again, I'm just a fan. I'm not, I ain't in the inner circles, but just as a fan who bought the records, who enjoyed, you know, Prince's artistry and the things that were a part of that, we say thank you, sir, because it all tied into it. And, you know, for those of us who understand lineage, who understands mentorship, who understands somebody believing in somebody, who understands humility, you know, somebody that understands grown folks and the relationship with the kids in the community, we salute you, sir. You know, it's bigger than music. So it may not always be the most out front, or it's not the name they always talk about, but for those who know, right, for those of us who are really fans and admirers of this whole thing, we know, and we salute you. We salute your family. And, you know, this goes to all of y'all. Don't ever get it twisted. We see y'all. We recognize what y'all have done, you know, and we appreciate what y'all have done. So that's just, you know, I wanted to make sure, man, we at least want to make sure that I let them know that we respect them, man. We respect all these people. And again, you know, I was thinking the other day, I was just listening to some stuff, and I just remember, I'm like, man, it's not just Prince that's the illest. It's like all the cats, the musicians that worked with him throughout the years. If you really think about it, the majority of them, if not all of them, are some of the best in the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because you had to be cold to, to be able to even be in the room, let alone that you playing your part on stage. Like, you were allowed, like, you was that good that, yeah, he don't need to play my part. I can play this and allow him to do his thing. But I just want to say, a lot of the people, you know, all of them are cold-blooded, man. When you really just step back and think about it, and there's not that many artists that you can say that about, that the people, the other band members are cold-blooded or have all went on to do their thing, man, and contributed to this thing. You know, I'm just going to top of mind a few people that I'm thinking about. The ones that just kind of stand out to me when I always think, and I'm going to just be in whatever order. But I'll start with a Morris Day, for instance. there's a lot you could say about Morris. There's a lot that's been said about Morris Day. When you think of Morris Day, there's things that come to mind to you. But I actually don't think we really have really given the proper sort of like, how to say, the real respect to the Morris Day. I don't think it sadly might not come until later. What I mean by that, of course, that's our OG. That's Morris Day. Please, what? We already know, but I'm talking about like if you go to think about like them first albums, them 3 albums. There's so much game. There's so much creativity. The camaraderie that those brothers have spills over on those records. It allows it to be so funky because there's the camaraderie or whatever that energy is between homies is what really makes those albums, in my opinion, why they are so special. And it's easy to sort of like not think about what makes them great because on the surface it's so easy to like them. They're that good. Like they work at any time. They work any generation. Those songs, cool. 779311, the walk, the bird, all of that stuff works any generation. But I just think that's why I feel like, yeah, Morris is actually really one of them ones that whatever he could bring out, or whatever sort of energy between Prince and them that made that what it was, never been duplicated. And so I always think about that. I think about, again, I'm just throwing stuff out. Jesse Johnson. And interesting enough, these brothers are still to this day, they're about to play in the celebration at Paisley Park. But, Jesse Johnson, the Axe Man, he would probably run for your money on the guitar. Let's keep it above. Of course, nobody going to outshine the master, but Jesse Johnson, one of the coldest, period. Like, you ask me, musician cats, yeah, for many years. Oh, Jesse Johnson? Like, you that name, you'd be like, where's that dude at? You know what I'm saying? Like, he is ill. One of the greatest. One of the greatest to do it, in my opinion. But was able to play his position. And did his own thing. And, one of the greats. Jan Lewis. I always feel like, and they're sort of early on notoriety and respect was because we thought that they produced the time records. Like, they were going to get props off the strength that we thought they produced the time albums, but when in effect it was Prince. But you thought they did it. And then they started doing productions in secret. But them songs started blowing up. The SOS and all that stuff. Like, them songs was fire as hell. Like, the community, black folks, we was on SOS heavy. Like, who is it? The Jammin' Lewis? What is it? Okay. These are one of them ones. And then you come to find out, oh, them brothers. But then they had their own thing unto themselves. Arguably, some of the greatest producers of all time. At least from my generation. They are on the Mount Rushmore. If you was like my age, them brothers, okay, and coming, and of course they standing on the greats of other things, but they standing up there and they allowing a space for L.A. Babyface. Was that the homies who did in vogue. It brought out Tony, McElroy. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about from the Bay Area. That team. You know, all these types of things to me come out of Janet Jackson and Foster McElroy. Thank you, John. You know, all of that stuff. I mean, you could do countless episodes about Jam and Lewis, but they coming from, you see where they coming from. And they stand on their, I mean, New Edition goes on and on. But again, some of the best to ever do it. You know, you go look at the Control album. You know, that album built on the back of Minneapolis funk sound. To the point where, you know, if you listen to the stories, they had Prince feeling some kind of way when that album came out. Like, who wrote that song? You know, it kind of sound like country, you know. Yeah, brother. Because that was the cheat code. But on top of that, they were fabulous musicians. They were dope. They understood architects of that. They understand how to craft a song. And they understand how to move with the genres. But still, you know, oh, is Minneapolis sound popping? Okay, we're going to write some dope songs on that. Oh, New Jack Swing is the sound? Okay, give me that. We'll write some dope songs off of that. Like they can flip it. Yeah, salute to John McCain. Absolutely. He does not get enough props. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm just throwing stuff out. Andre Simone. For a long time back in the day, it wasn't no other. Okay, you'd be like, yeah, there's the time. But even before, yeah, Andre Simone. He the next one. He was the closest thing to that. And he held that for a long time. You know, Andre Simone was that dude. I mean, he still is that dude, but I'm just saying back, like, oh, Andre Simone gonna be on that? Oh, yeah, you already know that's gonna be dope. What you talking about? Get it, girl. Dun, dun, dun. Y'all remember the first record? That first album had cuts. I remember hearing that as a kid. It's funny, I associate those early Andre Simone songs. For me, I associated with pop locking. That's what cats in my area was doing when them songs was hit. I didn't even know who Andre Simone was, but when I go back and I'm like, I remember that song, and it was pop. That's the song the older brothers was doing when they was pop locking. Get it, girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. So yeah, Andre Simone. Other ones that just, when I think about it, who stood out, Cat. Not a musician, but a dancer. Cat, man, when Cat came on the scene with Prince, man, that was a major, major thing. At least to me it was. I was like, what? And, you know, I think as I think back, you know, my early sort of introductions to Prince, it was the Purple Rain era. And it was Prince, Apollonia, you know, maybe Morris Day. But it was like these sort of things that it wasn't just Prince. It always had to be the Apollonia type, you know, thing. When it really represented was just that beautiful, it was a beautiful woman that was a part of the thing. That's how I got into it. You know, it was almost like a trifecta of thing. So going into the albums after that, and somebody said Sheila and the thing, you know, the Apollonia part kind of moved on, but then it was Sheila E kind of morphs into that a little bit. But I always felt it was a separate thing. So when you bring in Cat, and that 12-inch drops for a Sign of the Times, because that was the first time, at least for me, that I seen a visual of her, was that 12-inch, and she got the heart. That blew my mind. I was like, yo, the imagery is coming back. Like, okay, this is about to be something, because And just, I mean, when you finally saw the live performance, headbuster, man. She was a complete headbuster, and it was just it was as important as the music to me. Everything, it was all a package, and she was. I was like, yeah, Prince and Cat, Batman and Robin. It just went hand in hand to me. So yeah, Cat's another one, absolutely. Um, Levi, again, these are dope ass artists. Levi Caesar Jr., if I'm saying it correctly. I love that period. It was like when you started to see Levi's name was on the production. He was doing more stuff. I was like, oh, dude, done been around them for a minute. He's part of the next group, but solid. Like, I was like, this dude is a dope ass bass player. That's the first thing I kind of got hip to him. And then you turn around, he becomes the guitar player. He was killing it. I was like, yeah, that if he's involved, it's gonna be dope. That's how I used to think about it when I see his name. Oh yeah, he's in the band. Oh yeah, okay, it's solid. He got real one up there. He's just one of those dudes. Another one, the same period. Bonnie Boyer. Man, I thought whenever Prince was like Bonnie, I was like, oh man, she about to blow. It ain't, it's not even a question. It was a part of the thing. Like, yeah, man, Bonnie Boyer, man, solid. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, he got the sister that can blow in the group. Had never seen that. And then when you started to kind of, you dug a little deeper into some of these other groups, I was like, oh, Bonnie, she out here with Digital Underground. And you start, oh, she from the Bay Area. Oh, okay. And you see her, she was on a couple of Raphael Sadiq songs. Oh, man. But yeah, Bonnie Boyer, man. That's who's going to be the next one to blow. I mean, let's see, you can go on and on, but yeah, man, it's just a lot. Wendy and Lisa. Again, badass musicians. Even when Purple Rain, it's a to me they were sort of a part of the narrative, or they were presented as it being a part of this story, right? Because we remember it was a movie to me. So I'm thinking, I don't even know what they really contribute per se, but I know there is an integral part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just looking at the movie, and I'm like, oh, they playing the guitar part. I'm thinking they really came out with, they came up with that stuff. Whether or not they did that, I'm not here to say that. But I just knew that, when they're around, there's a certain sound. There's a certain feeling. And so when Parade and all that, man, I just knew it was on point, because when I would hear their harmonies or their voice, I knew, like, oh, okay, this is a certain. And for many a years, Prince fans, we would argue that Wendy and Lisa was the key. The narrative has changed a little bit over the years, but y'all remember, we used to argue, oh, Wendy and Lisa ain't a part of it. They ain't going to be, he need them. I used to say that. I don't think that anymore, but I'm saying the fact that, they were important, right? And then when they came out with their own albums, I was like, oh, okay, now I see, I understand. And their stuff stands on their own. Fantastic. The fact that as incredible, innovative, fear. I mean, just everything you could say about Prince's music. The fact that somebody else could at least have something that does contribute to it in a great way where you kind of do miss it a little bit says a lot. I mean, he don't need them. And trust me, he don't. But it don't, but I'm not mad at what they like, Lord. When it was that season, fantastic. Fantastic. And when they went on their own, fantastic. Can't take nothing away. Incredible. The drummers. The drummers are master classes unto themselves, right? Like John Blackwell, rest in peace. John Blackwell. Who else could you go with after you done already had Michael B., Sheila E., and Bobby Z, to say the least? John Blackwell was like determined, like he was surgical, man, but big, but detailed. It was incredible, incredible. Michael Bland, incredible. I watch some of these older videos now. When I look at him, he's playing. He's like, I'm like, God, he was so young, but so accomplished, man, and so like just on point. And I marvel at the live playing with the break beats and the triggers. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. It's just you have to be amazing. That's the thing. They're doing stuff that the normal people can't do. That's what makes it great. Like, no, you can't do that. You have to really practice and get your skill to be doing what these drummers are doing. Sheila E. Yeah. That's a whole other franchise. But crazy. Bobby Z. Any one of them drummers is cold. Could be in any band, it'd be dope. Like but they all came through their thing. Again, and it's not just the musicians. Again, we're not going to name everybody and go through. I'm just giving people that's just kind of coming to mind. Just letting you know that we appreciate y'all. We definitely be watching. Another one that is really just as important, and we may find out one day, probably the most, could be more important in a different way, is Kim Berry. Prince was not just about the music. The visual aspect is why a lot of people are here as well. And this is a person who sat there with this brother day for day, year for year. And you can only imagine the conversations, the attitudes, the energy, the spirits going on between these two and what it takes to get this man looking like, this character that we fell in love with. That's the hairstylist relationship with the client on just if you came to see me once a week level. Now imagine if you live with that person, you see them damn near every day and you doing the most hair. It ain't just some little, like they doing the most. And it gotta be casket sharp. You probably with them more than most. And we're intimate situation, you know what I'm saying? Like when a brother's tired, man, go ahead and get my hair tight. You know what I'm saying? Get me right. All right, wake up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So before anybody else can see you, they gotta go see Kim first. Get right. So, yeah. I didn't know anything about that years ago, but now, yeah, man. You salute. Yeah, super important. I see. Yeah, Jerome. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, man, just to give some props to some people, and these are just things that come into my mind. I'm not going to be able to get through everybody. Somebody like a Miko is another one. Fantastic guitarist. The fact that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it may seem kind of a short amount of time, but so impactful to the sound of this stuff, untouchable. Like I don't forget, you know, listening to some of these live shows and when it's Miko, Levi, and Prince, and they just start, man, listen, yeah, man, some good stuff, good stuff. But anyway, yeah, just giving up a little bit of props. We giving up the props to Pepe Willie. We just lost another one, but we have not forgotten. You know, they'll live on in the stories, and hopefully people don't forget, and people will see that, you know, it takes a lot to make something that's, you know, as great as Prince. It takes a lot. You know, the artists themselves has got to do a lot of work, but then it's the community of people around them too that facilitate and allow this thing to flourish. You can't forget that. You have to have that type of stuff. There's just no way that it, you know, nothing happens by itself. So, but with that said, I'm about to get up out of here. Just a quick little one for y'all. Hopefully, y'all having a good one. And if nothing else, please join us on Saturdays. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific time, where we go live with What Did Prince Do This Week? And yo, with that, work it like a job. I will definitely see you later. All right.